Why are these things important for us? In fact, we have to learn from our own mistakes, and that's a continuous process. So, as a human nature, evolution, uh, okay, as human, what happens is, uh, human, what happens is we all do something, we all try to do something, okay? From this, we do some actions, we get to perform some actions, and then we see some results for our actions. And as part of these results, what we do is we're going to analyze. And as we analyze, we get to some inferences. We infer some of the things. And as we infer, we go ahead and plan to do some of the work. And this cycle just repeats. So this is typically called as our empirical cycles or empiricism. So this is what we popularly call as empirical cycles. Okay, or empirical process. And now, this have been known to us from a long time. Example, Deming called it as plan, do, check, act. Plan, do, check, act. So popularly known as PDCA cycle. Okay, so we plan something, we do something, we check, and we act. And sometimes it is also known as the empirical cycles or empirical process of inspections and adaptation. Okay, or adaptation. I could put it as adaptation. Okay, so it's a cycles of inspections and adaptation. Now, when you go back to the history of Scrum, in Scrum, somewhere in 1990s, okay, the Scrum framework originally did not have retrospective. So what the authors thought is, over a period of time, we have the sprint planning meeting, and we have the end. This is the end of the sprint, where we do our a sprint review. Now, what originally the Scrum co-creators Jeff Sutherland and Ken Schwaber thought was, the team is going to do a sprint planning meeting, and they're coming up with a goal. They also do their plan to reach the goal, and now they inspect and adapt on this plan and a goal on a daily basis. So that is what is our daily Scrum. But then there was one very interesting assumption that was made, which was people should believe the team which is working on the goal is believed to always remember they're working on continuous improvement mode. They continuously are going to improve. That was an assumption made. So this continuous improvement, that the assumption which was made, what happened is the authors of Scrum, they started looking at it, and then they said, okay, we need to have the team take the accountability of continuous improvement, which means we are not going to look at just one specific event as a retrospective. I mean, similar to retrospective as a one meeting, but then it has to be continuously done throughout the sprint cycle. So throughout the cycle, we were supposed to have a continuous improvement. And that was a thought process that the organization, the co-creators had. But then this created an issue. What was the issue? One, people were busy. Now, people were busy. Busy for what? They were busy for their work and the goals of the sprint, and they tend to overlook the continuous improvement points. Yes, example, somebody could have had an idea that they wanted to try. Okay, they wanted to try, and uh, over a period, let's assume that on the day two of the sprint, and as they wanted to try this idea, they soon realized that their focus was on the goal, on their day-to-day activities, rather than on, along with the day-to-day activities, trying to implement this idea and then see if it is helping them. So what happened is the day two passed by, day three, day four, day five, and the procrastination of continuous improvement happened. So the teams were never able to actually continuously improve, even though they wanted to. And this led to the end of the sprint. The team was busy at the end of the sprint. They finish their activities, they do their sprint review, and then get started immediately with the next sprint planning meeting. Over a period of time, the Ken Schreiber and Jeff Sutherland, the co-creators, realized that they were actually having this continuous improvement as a continuous improvement process, or a continuous process itself was a kind of not working. So they said, if the team wants to continuously improve over a period of time, on a daily basis, on an hourly basis, at any given point of time, let them do it. There is no problem with this. But then there is a tendency that the teams could overlook for continuous improvement. So what should we do? Let us add that as continuous improvement as sprint review, sprint retrospective. And the goal of sprint retrospective is to have continuous improvement in the system. Now, it was very interesting to understand as to what do we improve over this time. So the most common aspects that people tend to improve on continuously are the tools and the techniques they use, the strategies they use, and then the the people issues, the people themselves, people aspect, the process aspect. In fact, process will include a combination of this and a couple of more. The relationship among the people, the management, the culture of what they're working on, and a couple of things. So these were some of the things that they actually were focused for improvement that was suggested. Now, as an organization, do you want to do a continuous learning as a continuous improvement as a continuous process, or do you want to do it as a one-time activity at the end of every sprint? Absolutely fine. If you want to do it as a continuous learning, it's absolutely fine. But then it is always good to stop and then review what is our thoughts, come up with a plan as to how we can continuously improve and what are those steps, and then go forward. So this is a very short thought process on continuous improvement. In fact, when I coach the teams, I always tell the team that you have to come up with your thought process in this way. Let's assume this is a meeting room. Let's assume this is a meeting room and this is the wall of the meeting room, the door of a meeting room. And you are here entering into this meeting room. This is where we have sprint retrospective. Okay, we have sprint retrospective. Now, what thought process should you bring in? What should you think as you enter this room? You should always think in this way. that and my team, I and my team are going into this room for the discussion so that we can collaborate and improve. Continuous improvement can be seen. So I'm entering into this room so that I and my team members can become delta more effective and efficient. So we need to be effective and efficient at our work. Now, if you are effective and efficient at your work, and if you are convinced with the changes in the tool strategies, only then this person will think of, I'm going to go out of this room. If not, neither am I going to go out of this room, nor I will let anybody in this room walk out of this room. Now just imagine if there are a couple of people here. So if there are a couple of people here who are your team members, and everybody in this room come with the thought process of continuous improvement to make our work effective and efficient, and everybody will hold each other accountable, then this meeting will certainly result in 100% effectiveness. And that is what we want to bring in. So most of you may be working as team members, scrum masters, managers. So what you have to focus on? You will have to focus on these things. If you are part of this team and this discussion, you should walk in with the thought process of continuous improvement. If you're a scrum master, then you should educate your team members saying that, hey guys, this is for us to improve ourselves. And if you're a manager, you should encourage people to have transparency and collaboration for continuous improvement and speak about the problems openly here. So one of the things that you have to ensure is this room has to be like a shielded wall. So everything that is discussed here remains as the team's focus for continuous improvement. I mean, I am personally not in favor of holding anything as a secret meetings, but then there is a tendency that people may not speak up if there are if they are told that okay, their actions are going to be discussed outside this room. But think about it. If the whole focus is for continuous improvement, if the focus is continuous improvement, which means over a period of time, it means over a period of time, this is yesterday, this is today, and let's say I have tomorrow. Now, all it means to me is if the focus is continuous improvement, we may have done something wrong, or if we may be ineffective yesterday, we will try to be effective today. If not, tomorrow when we start working, we're going to be effective and efficient as we continue. Every day, we're going to be delta more effective and efficient in the way we work, the way we think. And that's a thought process which is important. So if everybody is focused on a continuous improvement, this need not be held in a closed room. This need not be held in a a closed group. It can be as simple as being in a public place. Okay, so that's about some of the histories of retrospective, the mindset required for retrospectives.